welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming. This time around we are going to talk about a small little problem, little if you know how to solve it, very hard if you don't, that I ran into in this week or last week more or less. It depends on what you are going to say what is the last week anyway. As you can see, it's going to be installing PureMaps from Chum instead of Jolla or OpenRepos.org in general. Whatever. The problem here is that some of the developers now have turned to Chum to deploy their packages, for instance for SailfishOS, and for that they more or less abandoned or in the end don't have the latest versions anymore on OpenRepos, for instance, or on the Jolla store or whatever. And for that reason you will have to use Chum to install stuff, but then you might already have installed one of the other versions from Jolla store or from the OpenRepos store in this case, and like that you might run into trouble installing everything. So OpenRepos, this one, is no longer the main point where you're going to go to in some situations. For some developers it's a little bit, I would say bad that everything is going to split and separate in this way, but we have to live with that now. What you need to know is Chum is going to make it a lot easier for the developers to deploy their packages, for instance, to different Sailfish versions. So for instance, if a developer wants to support, let's say, 3.4, 4.1, 4.2, 4.4 or something like that, it's a lot easier now for him to do that by using Chum as a service, because Chum is more or less an automatic building and deploying application or service that is going to help them there a lot. And because of that, I'm of course all for it, because like this we can really support different kinds of versions, even operation systems, in a much easier way than before. What you are seeing here is now no longer at the moment sent by the smartphone or the Lumia 950 XL. The reason for that is that I'm going to have to show you stuff that is on my SailfishOS smartphone, and because of that I need to use a service that is called Screencast, which is less superior, not superior, whatever you want to call it, to Continuum Gaming, because on the SailfishOS platform there's no Continuum feature or something. Something very similar is on Ubuntu Touch or Ubuntu, which is called Convergence, but at the moment we don't have that for Sailfish, so I will have to use Screencast. Screencast is a service or an application more or less. It is going to take screenshots and send them on a self-built web server, and you can then access the informations of the screenshots on the web server in a more or less automatic stream matter. It's not even half as good as the other one, especially because you're not going to record or hear audio, but more importantly it's very laggy in some situations. Sometimes it really lags behind a couple of seconds, and I don't hope that we are going to run into that kind of problems, but still I want to show you what's going on here, and so let's see if we can make it happen for that. And for that I will have to cut a little, because I'm going to use my laptop instead of my Lumia 950 XL, because the browser on the Lumia 950 XL is not supporting this kind of stream capture stuff I'm going to use here, so I have to use my laptop with Firefox on it to show you what's going on here. So give me one sec, we'll be right back. Okay, and here we are again, and as you can see I'm showing you what is on my smartphone at the moment. So the SailfishOS, in this case Sony Xperia 10 Mark II, is going to send those screenshots I'm doing at the moment, or that are done by Screencast, to a web server, which I'm going to show you on my laptop, which is connected by HDMI to this display. Sounds very complicated. It is a little bit complicated, but not that complicated. And if you want to do it by yourself, for instance with Screencast or something, just have a look in the description box below. I'm going to show you where to get Screencast there. And what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you first off all the different stores. So I have 7 at the moment I'm using, more or less constantly, whatever. And as you can see, it's more or less ordered in the right way. So the best store is the Jolla store, so where you should get everything from. Chum and StoreMan are more or less equal. And F-Droid is of course the free open source versions of APKs available on the internet, or better to say on F-Droid in this case, which are pretty unproblematic too in general. And if you are coming to the lower row, it's going to be a little bit less nice, because Aurora Store is more or less a Google store, but in an anonymous way, so you don't have to share your informations with Google for the first time. Problem is, if you are opening, for instance, the app then that you installed, it's more or less the same that you had on Android or whatever. So that one might track you and might do stuff you don't like. Other than that, there's APK Pure and F-Droid, which are not recommendable anymore in most situations. So if you can, go with Aurora Store, or go better with one of the first line, because those are pretty unproblematic. Whatever, just a small little excursus or whatever you want to call that. Yeah, most importantly, as you can see, we have Chum, we have StoreMan now, and we have the Jolla store. And for instance, if you installed before that PureMaps, you can see that here, you might have run into problems installing that again, because the Chum version is using, for instance, different library versions from the same developer more or less, but you have to have newer versions. And in some situations it might be that, for instance, if you installed the PureMaps before, the StoreMan versions all still have some kind of libraries installed, and those might give you troubles with that. To solve that, just go into StoreMan in this case, and if you have a look at that, there are a couple of different options here, and what I'm going to go to is Installate Programmer, Install Programs in this case. And if I click on that, you can see all the different little libraries that are already installed. Problem with that is, as you can see, for instance, SpeedXD SP, where is it? There, is not really in an alphabetical order or something in here, so it's very, very hard to find everything. But the interesting part is Mapbox GL -QML. In this case, I already installed the new version, but it might be that this one, for instance, is very old for you. And if that's the case, for instance, there's 1.9 or something in there, you might have to manually deinstall that first before you can install the new Chum version. In Chum, I'm going to show you a little screenshot for that. In Chum, you are going to have this little bar up there. So the bar you see there might give you an indication what's going on. What's going on with your installation there, and there you might find information about which kind of more or less library is going to give you some kind of trouble in here. So just have a look there. If you can't read it fast enough, just press your finger on it and wait a little, because then you are going to be able to see what's going to be written there. And if you clicked on that, then you might find out which one has to be deinstalled. But if you don't know about that, it's a very hard and frustrating process, and it's really hard to know where to go to get all the different libraries, or better to say the different packages, and just deinstall it. The installation is pretty easy. Just click on it, and as you can see, you get this delete part. Just delete it then, and that should give you all the options you need back. And after that, just go back to the Chum version, install it, and it should work. If not, just deinstall PureMaps as a whole. Just long click on it, and you are going to see more or less the deinstallation version of that. Here's a little bit of a lag, sorry for that, can't do anything about that. Hopefully he's going to see it and give us, there we go. As you can see, this is more or less the deinstallation process. If you click long on one of the icons, you're going to see this. And then just click on the little X to get rid of it. If you don't want to do it, just click somewhere else, and then you should be able to deinstall everything. Yeah, in the end, just deinstall PureMaps. Maybe you still have some kind of other application that's using this this library. So, for instance, for me, it's Navi Helper, which navigation helper. So these are more or less supporting apps, or whatever you want to call them, services probably, which are going to give you other options. For instance, for PureMaps, for instance, OSM Scout server is for offline usage of maps. MLS Manager is something that is going to give you a faster GPS experience, so the location where you are at is going to be much faster resolved. And OSM Scout is just something different, so you can, for instance, go for a hike or something. It's not really connected to anything there. I just misread what you need to install. It's not OSM Scout, but OSM Scout server to get the offline data for PureMaps. Yeah, and I would say this is more or less what I wanted to show you. This video, it should have been pretty short, but I'm pretty sure it's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But whatever, hope you had fun with it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any kind of questions, whatever, regarding Screencast or whatever, you can just put them down below into the commentary section. If you, for instance, have any kind of useful tips how to improve the Screencast performance, or any kind of other technology that is going to help us to do that, more or less, just let me know. I'm really helpful, or would be very happy to have that. It might be that the new Xperia 10 Mark III has an ability to use the USB-C connector directly. That would be great. Maybe that might change everything for me here, but we will see. And just to mention it, I'm going to use the Xperia 10 Mark III in future videos, not at the moment, but probably someday in the summer I will do that. And because I don't own it at the moment, but I will. And other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Comment down below, very welcome. And other than that, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next episode. It's very hot in here. That's the reason why I'm pretty late with this video too. So just bear with me. It's really hot in Germany at the moment, and I really can't stand it anymore. But whatever, hopefully next week it's not going to be that way anymore, but we will see. And other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Have a great day, have a great night, and bye. Bye!